AOC couldn't even pretend to be confident this time.
I'm sorry, I'm just having a tough time. And so we are looking, and so we're...
What should have been a straightforward slam dunk on a bank CEO became a full-on faceplant as the Democrats' favorite rising star faltered over her own questions. We're breaking down this whole mess today for that reason. Instead of engaging in party cheerleading, we use common sense. Click the subscribe button and let's begin. If you are an independent thinker...
For your awareness, your banks have opted out of Paycheck Protection Program forgiveness,
Excuse me, that is incorrect.
With the portal with the SBA. Thank you. I was trying to finish my sentence. Now, I would like to zero in a little bit on Bank of America. Mr. Moynihan, are you aware of how many PPP loans your bank has facilitated on behalf of its customers?
About 400, almost 500,000, and 95% are forgiven or repaid already. Mm-hmm. And we're finishing up the rest of them.
How many of those loans, in terms of the percentage, have those loans been forgiven in full?
Here's the quick backdrop. The Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, was established by the CARES Act as a $670 billion lifeline to keep businesses afloat throughout the pandemic. It was a simple deal. Provide funds so companies could keep paying their workers. If the money was used for approved expenses, the debt was erased. Easy, right? According to a widely cited study, PPP did save about 3 million jobs per week in Q2 of 2020 and 1.75 million per week by Q4. Still, the same study noted the program was costly and that, surprisingly, business owners pocketed a sizable portion of the benefits. But that's a rabbit hole for another video. AOC initially questioned this, claiming certain banks, such as Bank of America, were too lenient, and some businesses were overpaid. Her cross-examination, however, slowly turned into an improvised comedy routine because she was unprepared for the response.
Bank of America had pre-populated a forgiveness amount in their portal, sometimes drastically lower than small business owners had anticipated and had qualified for. And in instances where these small business owners have documentation, there's very little recourse or appeal. Does your portal make it easy to appeal their decisions so that after 2 attempts, the SBA can then take over the case?
Borrowers can appeal. 95% of the loans are forgiven and repaid today, so we're only talking about 5% of the loans, and a substantial part of those are going through the appeal process as we speak. And so the borrowers can appeal, and we're in a process of finishing up that last 20,000 or so loans.
Let's not pretend this was a small issue. Even though the CEO stayed calm, Bank of America literally faced a lawsuit over it. If AOC had done her homework, she would have had the perfect chance to challenge him and generate headlines. Instead, she basically lifted an article from The Intercept word for word and tried to sell it as her own discovery. That was the energy she brought. From the moment she sat down, it was obvious she was hunting for a viral clip. Her tone and posture screamed, "Watch me drop the mic." She clearly thought a few clever gotchas would earn her Twitter glory as the people's champion. Spoiler alert, that script went straight into the shredder. And if you thought that was embarrassing, brace yourself for an even bigger misstep in her next question.
So is the 90, I apologize, not to, belabor the point, but is that 95% a partial loan forgiveness or a full loan forgiveness rate?
They're getting what the borrowers are applying for the forgiveness entitled in the program. 95% of them have gone through or repaid, and the vast majority of them are full forgiveness, but they're entitled to what the program designed. The government designed a program, and we implemented the program very short notice. 500,000 people, 10,000 people working on this program. And so we're finishing that up. It's just let the process go, and a lot of what you're reading, frankly, is not the facts because it's old. It doesn't understand how the math works, and so just give us some time, we'll give you the facts.
We're constantly told that banking math is too complex for the average person. But this was one of those rare times when a prepared lawmaker could have cut through the smokescreen. With even a little effort, AOC could have exposed what Bank of America was really up to. Instead, she tripped over her own shoelaces and wasted the opportunity. And the truth is, this wasn't just a minor slip. It was a golden chance to shine a spotlight on one of the biggest financial players in the country and hold them accountable in front of millions. Bank of America has a long history of questionable practices, lawsuits, and settlements that could have been brought into the conversation. A prepared lawmaker could have drawn a straight line between past scandals and current behavior, forcing the CEO into a corner where evasive answers would only make him look worse. That's what oversight is supposed to be, asking tough, informed questions that reveal the truth. But instead of doing that, AOC leaned on vague talking points, recycled articles, and half-prepared sound bites that collapsed the moment they were challenged. Remember Mark Zuckerberg on the hot seat after the Cambridge Analytica scandal? AOC asked vague questions about Facebook's ad policies. Zuck swatted them away with evasive non-answers, yet somehow it was framed as a victory. Spoiler again, it wasn't. No answers, no accountability, just political theater dressed up as progress. Which brings us back to the latest hearing. Alexandria was already running out of steam. Then she hit the point where her mind simply blue screened.
What is the reason that Bank of America chose to opt out of the SBA portal?
Whether, I told you before, I'm not sure we did or didn't, and I have no idea why they would have made the decision, but we are processing loans as fast as anybody.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm just having a tough time. This is about $25.2 billion in loan amounts in your bank, correct? And
Not anymore. No, it's down.
but at one point in time. And so we are looking, you're uncertain as to why the bank has not chosen to enroll in the SBA portal?
I said we will get you the information. The amount of loans we have left on this thing is a billion or so. It's down to very little amount.
No worries.
It's all paid back.
If you think I'm being too harsh, even commentators on her own side have pointed out the same pattern. Just listen to what Bill Maher had to say during his show.
What do you think of the fact that the people who are getting the big crowds right now are AOC and Bernie Sanders? They're going around the country. Thank you, there's that same guy. I call him the always wrong guy. Okay, but I feel like, big crowds, again, the shiny object that the Democrats chase. It's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job.
That kind of brutal honesty is exactly what we need more of. And this hearing perfectly illustrates why Congress is failing. The place is so dysfunctional that even passing a basic spending bill turns into a last-minute circus act. Lawmakers agree only when their backs are against the wall. That isn't governance. That's survival. Which raises the bigger question. If we're serious about fixing this country, shouldn't Congress itself lead the reset? It wouldn't be easy, but that's the point. When a sitting lawmaker can't even grasp how banks operate, institutions directly tied to one of the biggest financial crises in modern history, that's not just a personal blind spot. It's a national warning sign. So what are we left with? Maybe Congress will make reforms? Maybe it won't. Either way, it's worth asking where things are headed.